Okay, just picture this. A single app on your phone. That's your bank, your stockbroker, your insurance agent. I mean, your entire financial life, all in one place. That's the dream of the super app, right? It's this huge idea that has totally taken over the tech world. But what does it actually take to make that dream happen? Well, that's what we're going to break down today, the real blueprint. Because, a vision that big, it comes with a seriously big price tag. And that's the number one question every founder, every investor has to face. What's the real, honest-to-goodness cost of building an app that truly does it all? So let's just get right to the numbers. All right, no need to beat around the bush here. We're just going to put the numbers right out on the table. Because let's be real, understanding the financial side of a project like this is absolutely everything. And what you'll find is it's really a tale of two completely different price points. On the one hand, for about $40,000, you can get a minimum viable product, or an MVP, off the ground. Now, think of this as like the first draft of your app. It's got the core features, it proves the whole concept actually works, and it's just enough to get it out into the world and start getting that feedback you desperately need from real users. But if you want to build the true super app, the one with all the bells and whistles, the one you're actually dreaming about, you're looking at a starting price of $400,000. And honestly, that's probably just the beginning. That is a massive 10 times jump from the simple MVP. So, that's the big question, isn't it? Why the enormous difference in price? What in the world takes you from a pretty modest investment all the way up to a massive one? This is really the heart of it all. So let's start unpacking that complexity. First things first, you have to understand that a fintech super app isn't just another app. It's an entire ecosystem. It's almost like you're building a whole digital city with different districts for banking, for investing, for insurance. And every single one of those districts needs its own incredibly complex infrastructure. And they all have to work together perfectly. And this leads us to the most fundamental rule of this whole game. The bottom line is really this simple. Your budget is a direct reflection of your ambition. Every single new feature, every extra layer of complexity you add, it sends that cost shooting up. It's a simple idea, but it's probably the most important one to remember. So where is all that money actually going? I can tell you it's not just about making a pretty user interface or some slick animations. Nope. The real heavy costs are buried deep down in the app's foundation. Let's pull back the curtain on the three biggest expenses you're going to face. So we're going to start with the back end. That's the engine that literally powers everything. Then we'll dive into third-party APIs. These are the critical bridges that connect your app to the rest of the financial world. And finally, we're going to tackle what might just be the biggest hurdle of them all. Regulatory compliance. Okay, first up, the back end. The best way to think about it is like the central vault in a massive bank. It's where all the incredibly sensitive user data and transaction records are kept, and it has to be absolutely 100% impenetrable. But here's the really tricky part. It also has to be flexible enough to handle, say, 1 million new users signing up overnight without ever crashing. Building that kind of digital fortress, well, it's a huge and very expensive first step. Next up, APIs. Now, if your app is that digital city we talked about, then APIs are all the roads and bridges connecting you to other essential services out there. They let you tap into things you just can't build yourself, like payment gateways or systems for credit scores or feeds that pull in bank data. But here's the catch. Every single one of those bridges has a toll in the form of licensing and integration fees. And believe me, those tolls add up incredibly fast. And now for the big one, compliance. Look, in the world of finance, this is an absolute non-negotiable. This is where fortunes are made and, frankly, where companies die. You're not just building a cool app. You're essentially building a financial institution from scratch. And that means you have to navigate this insane maze of regulations, from know your customer laws to anti-money laundering rules. The cost of getting this wrong isn't just a slap on the wrist or a fine. It can be completely catastrophic. So, when you start to look at all these costs together, you realize they're not just line items on a spreadsheet. No, they are the actual building blocks of your entire strategy. They force you to think not just about what you want to build, but about how you're going to build it, safely, securely, and in a way that can actually last. And that really brings us to the main takeaway. In the end, that budget, it's so much more than just a number. It's a story. It's the story of your vision, it's the story of your ambition, and it's the story of your commitment to building something that could genuinely change how people deal with their money. Which leaves us with one last really crucial thought. The ultimate question for any founder in this space isn't really about the money. It's about mastery. The question isn't, can you afford to build a super app? The real question is, Can you master the immense, overwhelming complexity that comes with it? That is the question that's going to separate the dreamers from the builders.
Subscribe and like. You may share too. Top our next video to learn more.